Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This video is about ribs for boats, ribs for airplanes, or ribs for other applications. But a few things before we begin. First, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get a notification every time I'm releasing a new video. And if you have a question, don't forget to contact me on my forum and I will do my best to help you as best as I can. And also I want you to remember that most of the technique that you are seeing on my videos are universal and can be used with many other designs. I urge you to watch all my videos, even if I'm demoing a model that you are not going to build, because it's all about the techniques. Remember that. So let's begin. When you should start working on the ribs is very important. You must make sure you are not creating the ribs too early. And here's an example. As you can see here, we have a wing, and on the wing we also have the flaps and the ailerons. So if I have made the ribs too early, then it would have disrupted the flaps and the aileron, okay? So which is why you have to remember that point. Think before you go into create the ribs. Also, for example, in this situation here, you could say in some way that I've created maybe a little bit too early, because if I was going to create the mechanism below the flaps that go into extended or extracted, so the mechanism itself, it's going to sit inside the wing, which means there is a good chance now that one or two of the ribs will be sitting on top of that mechanism and disrupt it. Okay, so remember that. So really make a good plan to when you should start working on the ribs. Don't just create it immediately. You can wait with it. Okay, so next thing is the techniques that you're about to see are not going to cover every situation, which is why I want you to contact me if you get stuck, and I will do my best to help you. So let's start with the first example. In this example, you can see here we have a normal straight wing, which you can see the width, it's the same all over from the roots to the tip. So this one is going to be very, very easy. What I'm going to do now, the ribs component is highlighted. So I'm going to go back to the beginning and we're going to build it from scratch. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new sketch. And right here, you can see this is our wing. So I'm going to create a new sketch, and this sketch is going to be on the face. As you can see here, it's a little bit difficult to see, of the wing. Now I'm going to project. As you can see, we have two edges. We have the outer edge and we have the internal edge. And this is the one that I'm going to project, and the bottom one as well. Now there is another thing that I want to project, and that is if we open the wing, then we go to the sketches and we have the camber line. And the reason is because the camber line tells us where we are in the center. Okay, this is going to be the center line here. And yes, and that's it. So at this point now we can start working on the holes, basically the holes that it's our way to remove material. Okay, so we can collapse this one, and we can also hide the wing right now because we don't need it. So I'm going to start creating circles on the camber line right here. Like that. And I'm going to have another small one right here. Now the camber line, I'm just going to make it a construction line. And at this point, all you gotta do is, just play with the size of the wheels and those circles, make sure that they are aligned and they're sitting correctly, and there is also a space between them. And I'm just going to show you a tip. If you want to create a space between the circles, which mean tangent to each circle and not to the center of the circle, so we choose our measurement tool. We're going to, when it's highlighted, going to right click and then pick circle arc tangent. And now I'm going to be able to select the edge here and go to the other side. And as you can see now, I can choose the distance between them. Okay, so let's just say I'm going to give it 0.8 millimeters, like that. Okay, and I can do the same to the second one, like that. Again, it's going to be 0.8. I just need to move it to the other side. So maybe we can do minus 0.8. Let's see if it's going to work. No, not. So sometimes it can happen like that. Can tease us a little bit. So I'm not quite sure why it flipped. But you know what, let's try again. It's good that I'm having this error here, so you can see basically how I'm going to fix it. So yeah, it can be sometimes annoying. It's kind of really weird behavior, but I think it's because I am on a curved line here. But let's just try again. Right click here between this one, this point, and this point. And now I'm going to do the same here, right click between this point right here and this point right here. Let's just say I'm going to take the measurement from here. Good. So now it's working, and we're going to do the same from here. Select a point to the other side. Again, I'm going to select the measurement from here. Good. I'm gonna do this the next one as well. It looks really, really nice. And the last one from here to here. Really, really nice. Good. So now all of them, they have the same, as you can see, the same distance from each other, which means that if I'm going to resize this one, all the others are gonna move accordingly. And if I'm gonna move one, all of them gonna move together, which is really, really nice. So, but remember also to give them a dimension to each of them. Otherwise, yeah, as you can see, it can cause some issues if we are not gonna change, if you're not gonna give them a dimension, so they all can suddenly move. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a straight line from here to here and from here to here, and I just want to make sure that these are tangent, and so far so good. So I'm happy with the results. And now we can finish the sketch. At this point, what we need to do is, it's very simple. We are going to create an extrude, okay? So we're gonna extrude this profile, okay? We're not gonna select all the circles. We don't need them because it's a hole. And we need to create -1, so it can go to the other side, and -1 millimeter. And gonna create, click OK. And that's it. So we have our first rib, and from here, as you already probably guessed, we're gonna use the pattern. I'm just gonna use pattern on path, and I'm gonna choose a feature. So I'm gonna select the feature from the timeline, and I'm gonna select the path. It's gonna be this edge right here. And now all we gotta do is just drag it to the point that you want, and I'm gonna increase the quantity like that, and hit OK. And voila, just hide it. And as you can see, very quickly, very simple, we created all the ribs that we need. Okay, so, but this one again, as I said, it's very, very simple. It's a straight wing, the same width all the way, a piece of cake. Let's move on to the next one. In the next example here, we can see that it's not the same width all over. And sometimes it can be narrow all the way to the end without an angle right here. It can also have an angle in general and also with a much narrow tip. So what we're going to do in this situation, how I achieve this one here. So I'm going to show you. It is also very, very simple. Let's make sure that the ribs are selected, the component, and I'm going to go back in the timeline. So as before, we have, this is our rib. And again, there are different kind of techniques we can do this. I'm going to show you one which is, very simple. So what we're going to do here, we're going to do exactly the same as before. So we're going to go and create a sketch on the face right here. And we're going to, yes, you guessed right. And we're going to project the inside edge. Okay. It's a little bit difficult to see it, but you see if you hover the mouse, then you can see exactly where you are. And I'm also going to project again the camber line like that and click OK. And now we don't need the wings, so we can also make the camber line as a construction line, so it's not going to bother us. And I'm going to do this one a little bit more quick, okay? Because the idea is exactly the same as the other one. There is no point to spend way too much time on this one. And I'm gonna create another small one right here. Gonna connect between them. And gonna make sure that everything is tangent and it looks nice. Like that. Perfect. So I'm happy with that. Now what we're doing, so we're gonna finish the sketch. In order, the way we created the wings, there are different ways of creating it. What I did, I used, of course, the sweep command, okay? In order to create the wings. So we are going to use, again, the same command, and we're going to sweep the body of the ribs, which we are going to create in a moment. So we're gonna go to the sweep command here. We're gonna choose plus guide rail. So this one, we're going to choose our profile. Again, this is our profile. The path, it's going to be this one, and the guide rail, it's going to be this one. If for some reason you're going to get a shorter distance, for example, let me show you. I'm going to start by choosing this is the path, and this one, you see what happened? It's something like you say, oh, what's going on? Why it's not going all the way to the other side? Then actually it does going to the other side. So you just need to zoom out, okay? And voila. So here we go. So you have the, actually no, it didn't work. What we actually seeing here, this is the wing itself. Okay. So what you need to do is, you need to switch between them, okay? So this is going to be the path, and this is going to be the guide rail. And voila, turn off the wings, so it's not gonna bother us. So here we go, as you can see, now we created our the body for the solid body for our ribs, and everything looks really, really nice, and I can show you how it looks. Yeah, also from the other side. So yeah, now all that it's left to do is cutting it into pieces. And this is very, very simple. Now this wing, it's on an angle. If you notice that, you can see this is the front, now we're straight. So if this is our straight line goes right here, let me turn on the origin. You cannot see it. Anyway, you can see that it goes up on an angle. So we need to find the construction line. The construction, you can see this is the one that gives us, where is it? That gives us the angle, okay? So I'm going to use, because it's hidden, so now I'm going to create a new sketch on this one. Good, so we're gonna have to just turn it around a little bit. And at this point, now you just need to decide which angle you want to create the rectangle. I'm gonna choose 3 point, and I'm gonna hit the control now. It's gonna allow me to find the angle that I want much more easily. Okay, so I'm gonna do something like that. And click, and goes all the way down. Good, so I'm just gonna drag it a little bit, and I also wanna give it a thickness of, I don't know, 1 millimeter. Don't worry about it. First we need to give it a dimension of the length, but don't worry about it. So yeah, at this point, all we gotta do is now we can select our sketch. I'm gonna do like that. I don't know what's going on behind there. Turn off the wing, let's see. Yeah, so now only those sketches are selected. So we can go to create and rectangular pattern. And I wanna move it this direction all the way here. And let's see if this is the right one. Yes, so I'm gonna add quantity, the number of ribs that I want. Click OK and finish. From this point, we can basically select the sketches. So you can unselect this one. Nope. So I'm gonna have to do like this maybe, and add this one as well. All the profiles, we can go to extrude, and from the extrude command you can go to the operation and choose intersect. And if you haven't used intersect by now, sorry, and now you can use it, and you can also see why it's what can we use it for. Okay, so basically what we're doing we're creating only the intersection, okay? And the intersection between the profile, the sketch profile, and the body. So we don't need to use the cut, because if you're gonna use cut, we're gonna have a lot of excess bodies that we're gonna need to hide, and it's too messy. But here we're just creating what we need, okay? Only the intersection, click OK. And voila, here we go. So as you can see, this one, it's also very, very simple. Let me turn back on the wings so you can see exactly how it looks, how it's sitting in. So yeah, you just need to play with it exactly, figure out how the ribs are gonna look like, and use this technique, and it's gonna work. It's very, very simple. Now let's move on to boats. I decided I'm gonna show also with boats, because yeah, the boat guys, they might be not gonna be happy if I'm only gonna show on airplanes. So I'm gonna show also on boats. So exactly the same. I'm gonna go back and make sure that the ribs are selected, the rib component selected. What I'm going to do here, we're gonna go to surface. I'm going to patch, and sorry, not patch. I'm gonna go to create offset, and I'm gonna select the faces inside my boat like that, and hit OK. Now we can hide the hole, we don't need it anymore. We're going to create a loft between this side and the other side. I'm gonna select everything and stitch it. Now some of you probably thinking, okay, why didn't you just use thicken? Basically I can use thicken right now if I wanted to, but I can also close everything and then use the whole command. Okay, But you know what? Let's just, go back, and we're just gonna use the thicken. Let's say I want 1 millimeter. And it needs to think. Voila. I know some of you experience problems with it. And one of the main reasons that the thicken or the shell command doesn't work, that is because of imperfection in your surfaces, especially at the areas where you have some connection over here. And you think that it looks good, but if you're gonna zoom in, then you're gonna see that there are some issues, okay? You must have perfect, as you can see here, surface. Everything is smooth and connected, and you don't have any kind of artifacts on the edges. And you don't have also sharp, I could say sharp corners, okay? This is also sometimes it can cause some issues. And if you have sharp corners, it's not gonna work. You're gonna have to use the other technique to close it completely, and then use the fillet all the sharp corners, and then you will be able to use the shell command. The best will be to contact me on my forum, and I will show you exactly how to do it, okay? And it's much easier. In every case, it can be a little bit different. So it's better that you're gonna contact me and I'm gonna show you. So here we go. So we have the solid body for our ribs. You can see the hole is from outside and this is our rib. So the next step, again, it's very simple. We need to create the sketches for the ribs. And exactly as before, I'm just gonna zoom in and I'm gonna create the first rib. It's gonna be all the way here. Give it some dimensions so it's not gonna move, and the thickness is gonna be, I don't know, 1 millimeter. I'm gonna give it a little bit more, 3, like that. And again, exactly as before, I'm gonna select this one, rectangular pattern, and I'm gonna move it almost all the way to the end. Let me zoom out a little bit, like that. And let's see how many we need. Put as many as you want. I'm just gonna put 10. Finish the sketch and voila. Okay, I'm just gonna select all of them. Go to our extrude, select a symmetric, and you guess right, intersect. So we're gonna, actually at this point, we don't have to choose a symmetric because it's right down below. It's only one side. So I'm gonna drag it all the way up. And as you can see, you also have control over how much, okay? So let's just say you just want part of it, not all the way up. You can also do it like that, okay? And yep, like this. And you also have an angle here. I don't know, I didn't try it before. And I'm not gonna play with it now, but just click OK. And here you go. Here's the ribs for our boat, and it's perfect. And it's also, there is also a relationship between the ribs and the skin, which means if I'm gonna change the shape of my hole, it's also gonna affect the ribs as well at the same time, okay? So as you can see, it's very simple, but again, there might be a situation where those techniques are not going to fit 100%. There are always some kind of exceptions. Then please go to my forum, okay? Don't be shy. Contact me over here and I will help you. As you can see, already many people contacting me here for all kind with their own projects, and I'm helping them individually. I'm doing anyway my best to help them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget again to subscribe, hit the bell icon, also the like icon if you liked it. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.